Well, let's see what this is like. I just got a little help, I hope, with the volume of the videos. So my hope is that from here on out, they'll be easier to understand. Well, let's give it a shot. This is the first movie for handout 1.04. And in this one, I'd like to speak about contrapuntal practices of the Baroque. I'd like to introduce fugues, say a few words about how fugues and inventions are related. And then in the second movie for this handout, I'll speak about a very general plan of a typical WTC fugue. So that is my hope. That's my plan. So, contrapuntal practices of the Baroque. One of the hallmarks of the Baroque is the use of imitation. Granted, the use of imitation precedes the Baroque era, but it seems as if imitation really came to the fore during the Baroque. What is imitation? It entails the replication or repetition of a melodic idea in another voice. Imitation can use the same or different scale degrees. Imitation can take place at the octave, at the unison, at the fifth, at the second, so long as it takes place in another voice. We can contrast imitation then with sequence. Sequence entails the replication or repetition of a melodic idea in the same voice on a different pitch level. Do pay heed to those italicized words there. Very important it is to distinguish between these two. Very often, true, sequence and imitation are used in tandem, but it's important for you to know that the two are distinct and also how they are distinct. I can't emphasize this enough. Some other contrapuntal devices you'll find in the Baroque era include fragmentation, augmentation, inversion, and retrograde. Fragmentation involves the breaking down or apart of a melodic idea. Augmentation entails the increasing of note values of a melodic idea, time values of a melodic idea. Inversion entails turning a melodic idea upside down or inside out. And retrograde, which is a bit more uncommon, entails the playing of a melodic idea in reverse. As for fugues, we should mention that the fugue is not so much a form as it is a way of composing. It is highly imitative, the fugue is, and it depends on the frugal use, and on the fugal use of a few simple gestures. About fugues in particular, there is a great sense of economy of means. We see a great thriftiness. Ideas are seldom given to us just once. Rather, they're given to us once, then twice, then 3 times, then 4 times. They are repeated and stretched and pushed and pulled in any number of ways. There's a great economy of means, though. J.S. Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, we also call it the WTC, is a hallmark in fugue writing. It is a collection in 2 books of 48 preludes and fugues, each book having 1 prelude and 1 fugue in each major and minor key. The fugues we'll talk about in this class are all drawn from the WTC. Very briefly now on fugues versus inventions. There are some similarities between them, and yet there are some differences. Both fugues and inventions feature an alternation of subjects and episodes. Both of them use imitative counterpoint, and both of them use the same contrapuntal devices that we've already spoken about: sequence, fragmentation, invertible counterpoint, and so on. But there are differences. As for the number of parts, you'll find that fugues tend to be written for a greater number of voices, either 3 or 4, but it's not uncommon to find 5-voice fugues. Then there's the medium. You'll find fugues written for a variety of mediums, whereas inventions are almost exclusively keyboard pieces. And then there is the length and character of the subject. This is where we leave solid ground. Invention subjects tend to be shorter and in their character a bit lighter than fugue subjects, which tend to be longer and weightier, more serious. I've mentioned in the annotated copy of Handout 1.04 that there are a couple of two-part inventions in the Burkhart Rothstein anthology. I encourage you to look at them, to listen to them, and I've put up on Blackboard a brief analysis of the D minor invention. So now might be a good time for you to give a listen to some inventions. Inventions in some ways are kind of like fugues, but still with training wheels left on. Well, I think that's going to do it for this movie here. I'll be back with another movie in which we will talk in some detail, I hope, giving you a very general plan of a typical WTC fugue. So that's what's coming next.